Joining us now is Lauren Wright, a NewsNation contributor and writer, scholar, and lecturer for presidential politics at Princeton University. Thank you so much for being here today. You know, Lauren, I wanted to ask you, Elon Musk was the first person other than President Trump to speak at today's cabinet meeting. I'm just wondering what your reactions were to hearing him speak and to really seeing how that all played out.
He's definitely the focal point of the Trump administration right now. There's no denying it. And there has been, I think, a little bit of hesitancy by some of these cabinet secretaries about what he's doing, because keep in mind, pretty much everyone who's been appointed by Trump are skeptical of big government, think they can make their own cuts. And as they've been in these roles for whether it's a few days or a few weeks, they're getting to know the people who work throughout the executive branch bureaucracy. And maybe they think they can cut on their own, or maybe they think they can do some things better and they can do their own streamlining. Streamlining. I think, you know, there is some degree of thankfulness for the Elon Musk's role, which is taking on some of the blame for this. But a lot of these secretaries, I bet you, think they could do their own job cutting government waste. And so if I had to guess, I'd say there's more tension coming in the upcoming weeks rather than more smoothness.
You know, I wanted to ask you, as we're taking a look at this picture of what it looked like in that room today, I know that you were watching it as well. Did you get any reaction to the people that were watching Elon Musk in that room? You mentioned potential tension, but like, what was your read as you're taking a look at how this played out today?
I know I'm looking at the pictures again. It was, you know, it's a little bit awkward with someone standing and he's dressed very differently in his typical way. And I'm sure there's a lot of interest from everybody across the board in what he has to say, and a lot of fascination just to see his relationship with Trump and how they relate to one another in live time. But there were some thought bubbles there. I'm not sure exactly what they were, but there were some people, I think, with some doubts.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You know, President Trump had this to say during today's meeting. Let's listen to what he said.
Those million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble. You know, I wouldn't say that we're thrilled about it. You know, they haven't responded. Now, maybe they don't exist. Maybe we're paying people that don't exist. Don't forget, we just got here. This group just got here. But those people are on the bubble, as they say. You know, they're going to be gone.
Another type of bubble. And we already know this isn't necessarily true, right? So what do you think is the strategy here when it comes to the mass firings of federal employees? Because so many people, you know, we've been watching people walk out with boxes. This is very dramatic.
Yes, and you and I have talked about this on the weekends before. You know, if he ends up cutting even a few 100,000 jobs, which sounds like a lot, it really is just a drop in the bucket with an executive branch that employs over 4 million people if you count the military. And so the question is, will Trump end up going down the route of previous presidents, Democrat and Republican, who have said, I want to cut the waste, fraud, and abuse, and I want to make government smaller and more efficient, but have not been able to do so and have turned to other tactics like hiring more people, administrative layering, restructuring certain things to make government bend to their will. There's a reason why we don't see this approach very often, but I think for the meantime, yes, it's dramatic, but American voters are willing to give it a try. I just think it's a very, very long, rocky road ahead, and it's a very, very high bar for success.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.